This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is K. Collie.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
Welcome back to the Just Nuggets Podcast. This is K. Collie. Obviously, the Nuggets have just lost to the Timberwolves Game 7. And this is our recap of the season as well as Game 7. We have Christoph on the other side. Christoph, how you doing?
I've had better nights, K-Dot, but here we are.
Just Janet, how you living?
I'm living not so well, or I would love to live better, but I'm sad because I was hoping for the best, that we would get through at least to the next level tonight, but we didn't. And we were well on our way at halftime.
Yeah. I think this is a tale of two halves. You have the Nuggets come out. Obviously, we're up almost 20 points. I think they hit 20 points. I was at Ball Arena, so I was watching the game. It was tough to see it in real time.
Yep.
However, there's a lot to get into, just as far as I would say less about this game. Obviously, we can break down the X's and O's and, Nuggets could have done this and done that. But I think it's better to just look at the season as a whole. That way we can – I know we talk about other teams and say, what could they do and what happened and what could do better. So maybe we should start with the Nuggets, like what happened. I guess this series or what happened.
This series was up and down. I mean, first of all, it was unlike any that we've had, definitely in our championship season, because we were 16-4 and we won. We only lost a home game. We lost to Miami, that kind of thing, a home game. But this one, Timberwolves got out 2 at home on us, and so, but we fought back, got 3 straight, and we just kind of ran out of gas. And we're going to talk about why we ran out of gas. But we ran out of gas at Game 6 and got blown out. We're thinking we're going to use that as fuel, which we did. We came out looking great. Murray got off into a fast start, had 24 points and a half. Joker was doing Joker things. And then everyone was doing a little bit, but we needed a lot more. And then we're going to look at what really was the cause of our season, really. And then it was downhill from there. We came back. Minnesota's known to have a great third quarter just routinely over the season. So their third quarters are like, where they really, get down. And they did it. They came back. They were up at 1.20. They came back. They ran us down, and they went up. And when
I'll say hats off to Minnesota. They played excellent defense, but my point's been the same since literally the just summer league episode almost a year ago. The Nuggets made no moves over the offseason. And if you look at the stats for tonight, the moves that Calvin Booth made, and yes, this is going to be a very slanderous on my part episode against Calvin Booth, because you are the one, not the players on the court, who screwed us because you gave us nothing. The moves you made this offseason were Justin Holiday, Hunter Tyson, Jaden Pickett, and Julian Strouthard. Everybody listening to this podcast had as many points as his offseason moves tonight. You did nothing, Calvin Booth. I hope you listen to this, and I hope you get your head out of your behind and do something, because you just screwed the pooch on a season when we had a chance to go back-to-back. You lost us the championship. You and nobody else but you, because you did nothing all season. And you deserve to hear this. Mike Malone just did a presser and said, my dudes are gassed because they had to play 47 minutes tonight. Bro, I don't understand how this podcast, if you just listen to one episode and did nothing, I don't want to hear, it's money, it's this. You could have done something, bro. You could have moved Zignaji, who's under contract, for a piece. Just do something. You did nothing. And what comes back to bite you in Game 7 at home as it did in Game 6. The Nuggets are champions, and you can never take that away from them. They fought back and climbed back into this series, and they had Game 7 at home against a team who came in here and beat us, Game 1 and 2 here. So they were comfortable in Game 7 on the road too. So they weren't afraid. But when you don't get any production, you get 5 points off your bench, and then your starters give you, what was it? I just saw something that the Nuggets bench, excuse me, Jamal and Jokic had 32 points in the second half. The rest of the team had 5. So that in lies your problem. They had no help. They weren't given help. And that's been the story of this year. And of course, if you're being honest with yourself, Nuggets fans, you knew this was going to happen. I knew this day was coming March 1st. I was afraid of Minnesota because they are built to beat us. They have the depth, they have the size, they have the matchup. And when we don't help ourselves, we were never going to win a championship unless they just outdid themselves. And tonight, that what was it, the 21-3 run, that ended it. And it is what it is. On to next season.
Yeah, I think Kristoff is obviously our Sandy Clough of this episode. But I do agree with you in the sense, the larger, obviously, I'm not going to call Calvin Booth an idiot. I think he messed up. Obviously, he could have added to the team. He is, to me, the biggest issue on this team was the moves that Calvin Booth did not make. Again, we had Bruce Brown, who was a dog, who obviously had to go to Indiana Pacers. He was going to go get his money. Jeff Green, obviously, was going to go get his last contracts or 2 when he went to Houston. But to not even go replace those guys, not even so much in the offseason. I get we were budget kind of constraint in the offseason. But by the middle of the season, if you listen to any of us on this podcast, I feel like every episode we talked ad nauseum at least to if this bench can show up. Can the bench do this? Can the bench do that? And we knew this bench had some players that needed real life development that just wasn't going to happen on a championship team. There's like Hunter Tyson can't get the 20, 30 minutes he needs to be the player he can be on this championship team. Same with Pickens, same with Julian Strother, and to a lesser degree, even like a Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson does need to be on a team where he can get 20, 30 minutes of basketball. That wasn't happening. At a certain point, if you're the GM, you know this, and you say, hey, let me go get Danilo Gallinari. Let me go get Gordon Hayward, who just talked about when he was on OKC, he said he wished he could play a bigger role. We would have loved a Gordon Hayward tonight. Like that's how good, obviously, we know how good the starting 5 is. It's like even Michael Porter's like, oh, he's blaming himself. You can blame yourself all you want, but this starting 5 won us a championship last year. When we have a couple other guys, a couple pieces around us, we have a chance to win. And I think not adding to that team, like real vets that could have made a difference, killed us.
It's hard to beat a team as good as Minnesota when you're throwing 5 players at their 9. And that was the difference tonight as it was in this entire series. So I agree. And, it just sucks because you never want to lose. You want to stay on parade, but also at the same time, like when the blowing the 20 points, I don't really subscribe to that. Sure, they blew 20 points. Sure, it is what it is. But it really comes down to that they didn't get the production from the bench. They didn't get additional scoring, and they didn't get additional scoring from a starter either.
Well, okay, couple things. I think Michael Malone was really good at mixing and matching, trying to get the best out of squeezing that lemon, to make lemonade. And we made lemonade for a long time. And then when he squeezed it to make this 7-game lemonade, it was nothing left. They got tired, they were tired by trying to, get to where they got to in this series, because Minnesota was built and to get us. They had the Nuggets in mind when they built their team. Number one, they have big guys in the middle that can, rebound and deal with Joker or at least slow him up. And then they had the 6th man of the year on the team. They had the number 1 defense in the NBA. So they had all of this going for them. So it's not like we lost to some some never been to playoff before. These guys, we played them last year. They were mad we beat them. Everything was
and their GM's Tim Conley.
well, there you go. All of it. So they were just looking to get us. So that was one thing. So then with our starting five and no bench, we got to a game 7. Okay. We were down 0-2, won 3 in a row. We almost got this done. We almost got it done by getting the 4th game. We almost got it done by winning game 7. So what was the root cause? I totally agree with you both. That is because we didn't have a strong enough bench. Like I said, they had Naz Reid, who was the 6th man of the year. That's how strong their 6th person off the bench was. And he showed up tonight in the time when he had to. You know why? Because he was arrested. Because Cat and Gobert and all the other ones played. And then when they needed the bench was ready to come. So if we all knew on March 1, you say, Christoph, that we weren't going to win this year, we weren't going to go back to back because we weren't deep enough. Here we are. That's
I think our fandom obviously still gets in the way, and we believe the Nuggets. And obviously, you watch this game, we're up 20 points. We could have won. There's ways that we could have won this game, even in spite of the things that we're saying. But if you look back on it,
and all they had to do was make shots. Starters, and when I say starters, I mean MPJ and AG. Like they didn't make shots. They had open looks. They didn't hit shots.
I'm saying this, Christoph, it's like, yes, the Nuggets could have won this game, and honestly, if they won this game, could have won a championship. But you can't cheat the process.
Right.
No matter what sport it is, you can't just be like, oh, we're so good, we can beat any team in the NBA with 5 guys, 6 guys. Because literally we had the starting 5, and we had CB. That was it. He was the only other consistent.
Yeah.
Reggie, Peyton Watson, and whoever else came off the bench was Holiday in this series, but maybe a different series. It could be someone else. It was always a case-by-case basis. Today, kind of basis.
Committee.
It was committee. So to say we could beat any team in the whole NBA with 6 guys was hubris. You know what I'm saying? Like not from Mike Malone or anything, but I'm saying even though there's obviously maybe even things Mike Malone will look back and say he could have done better. We all know that. There's all things you could do better. Like Michael Porter if we really just want to just go dissect this game, like, okay, Michael Porter could hit a better shot here. You know what I'm saying? There's always a way.
The cat in the hat, bro.
The cat in the hat. But we have to make sure that we look at the micro thing. You know what I mean? The macro. We got to look at the macro of this game. Otherwise, of this year. Otherwise, we look at it and say, "Oh, we just made these small adjustments, we can win." When we really need to add a whole bench,
and we
need to add a James Harden.
I know, but
I'm always gonna use this podcast to get somebody, and I think we can get James Harden. I'm just saying, run our second unit. James Harden, our second unit. That's great.
We're leaving the fate of a championship team in the hands of somebody who reads.
No.
Cat in the hat, bro. I don't know. Like it's the same deal I felt going into game 3. Where they're capable, are they gonna come back, or are they gonna, they're gonna get swept? Is Calvin Booth a full idiot, or just messed up one time? We'll see.
You might need to owe Tim Conley an apology.
I do. Actually, tonight is kind of like the same night when Tim Conley was proven right in Game 7 versus against Utah in the bubble. Remember when the Nuggets won? I was like, okay, you were right. You traded Donovan, you traded Gobert. I was mad about it, but you did something. He was vindicated. And tonight he's been vindicated because he obviously knows what he's doing and created 2 teams and built a team to stop the other team. And then he left I don't know. That is where he's playing chess and Calvin Booth is playing, I don't know, playing counting sticks or something. He's not even playing checkers, because if you're playing checkers, you would have known that you don't have enough pieces, bro. So I don't know. I don't really have anything good to say about Calvin Booth at the moment, because that is the macro. It's one human, and I guess it's an organization in terms of money and stuff like that. I know that's what needs to be happening. But if you look at through the whole time, I just don't understand how 3 Nuggets fans who just watch the Nuggets and have for years, we're not getting paid to do it. not our job to do it. Saw the writing on the wall 10
But
months
we
ago.
know the
And
answer.
that's what I just
One
don't
was one.
understand.
One
And
was one.
that's
Yeah.
what pisses me off, because we missed a year of
Of
opportunity
But we don't know
because of
where
what?
the money could have moved.
Yeah.
We know for a fact in the off season money was an issue. We
I
don't
know, but that's why I said in the regular season, even when you don't make a change or make a trade or something, like that's where it's like you get paid to do this,
But we had a
and you
quote.
and you missed it and you did nothing.
We had an
Like
article. We had a quote.
that's the
but
weird
but-
thing.
But Christoph, we had an article. We had a quote that said, in his mind, he would. I don't know if he said this. I'm paraphrasing. He would lose the opportunity to win a championship to develop his future. You know, and that means all the people we just named that was on, and that's what happened.
And that's why we're not going
There's
back
no
to back.
fair-
That ideology right there
I
is
don't
the
like that
reason they don't
ideology
go back to
because
back.
there's no spare championships. There's no
There isn't.
And we got the
Here's
camera.
my thing. No one wants to say this, but Jokic has been healthy for years. Say he rolls an ankle and he never comes back to the level he's played at for the rest of his career. You know what I mean? And he just is never. We talk about him like, yeah, before the injury, after the injury, or KCP chooses to leave. You know what I mean? Like you had a window to really run it back, because if you got two players, you just basically sufficed what you lost and maybe improved. And my thing is, it's kind of the Brandon Bean or the Chiefs GM. I think I'm saying his name incorrectly, but the Chiefs GM, he did one thing, huh?
Brett Veach.
Brett Veach, yeah, sorry, Brett Veach. But like he literally did one thing, and it was make a trade for Mecole Hardman, traded a 7th round pick, and Mecole Hardman caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. So if you just did one thing, that person could have scored 12 points tonight, and that's the reason you won. It's the little things, and when you have these opportunities, as much as I would love to say that the Nuggets could be back here all forever, I don't know. I truly don't know. I kind of felt that they'd be back here this season because I saw, I just know the talent, but like now thing is in sway, and
it's a year older. Everybody's a year older.
Year older, more wear and tear on their body. They didn't like being the hunted. Like that came up. Jamal and Coach Malone both talked about like they were being the hunted this year because they had the bullseye on their back. So maybe going back to not having that, and I get it. It's tough. It's also tough when like it's 5 dudes the whole time. You know what I mean?
Tough. People talk that way, that they had the bullseye on the back and stuff like that. That leads to the point where when you're the champs, you're the champs, and that comes with the territory too. You're getting that bullseye on the back, and so you could be upset about it or didn't like it or whatever, but that comes with, and then trying
it's
to
the reality.
And Chris, if we're using Chiefs references, you gotta remember the Chiefs lost in the championship too. On their way to try to win 2 in a back-to-back.
Yeah.
The first time they lost to Tom Brady. Not the same at all as what's going on now, but it's a hard-fought loss, like for the Nuggets right here. What you do after this matters most. How are you going to rebuild? How are you going to actually build the right team? I don't think the Nuggets window, regardless of what you kind of were alluding to, Christoph, I just refuse to believe that the Nuggets window is closed. If anything, it's actually become hopefully an opportunity for us to build correctly and get those guys that we need to. We don't need to be in a developing talent pool.
As long as you have Joker.
You have the core nucleus. You don't need to develop talent. We're not a developed talent team. Get the guys that you can this is what it is. Think about how the Cavaliers were winning championships, or
Warriors.
No, Cavs won that one with LeBron. Go get some dudes that just want to win a championship. Go let us go be Dallas in 2011, where it's like, all right, we got 5 or 6 dudes in the NBA that's never won a championship, but they're hungry. Put them around us. That's all we need. We don't need to develop a team with these. I'm not. That's nothing against any of our rookies. I think they're great basketball players, but we don't want to We don't want to waste Jokic years. Or even a Jamal year where Jamal has to stay healthy throughout the whole year. Yeah. Why waste that when Jamal literally puts up 30-plus points in a game 7?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't get that forever from Jamal. Use it while you have it.
Yeah, and to that point, like, I just want them to take advantage of this opportunity to continue to keep this window open, because you don't have to look any further than Milwaukee. you know. Milwaukee won a championship with a young two-time MVP who's well on his way to becoming one of the best players of all time, right? And their next sets of years of moves haven't panned out to the way they have. They went out and got him a second person in Dame Lillard, and this year they just were hurt. So that will shake out how it shakes out. But I'd rather be a team, who I can't really think of I don't think there is really a comp in the NBA history that I can think of off the top of my head that like won, then lost, and then came back and won multiple. I That just hasn't been a thing in the NBA throughout its history, to be honest with you.
No,
Oh, never mind. The Spurs.
I was
Spurs.
saying, yeah,
Spurs won.
win.
Well, the Spurs, yeah, because
Did the
yeah,
Spurs
they
never have a back-to-back champ?
No, but they didn't have one. They didn't have a
no,
back.
but yeah, but they won in '99, didn't win, and then the Shaq dynasty happened, and then they started winning on the backside of it. So I don't know. I would say to that is Tim Duncan was much younger, and you know, than Jokic. I just don't think you can waste too many of these years, and the clock is ticking. What do they always say in the NFL is like they're officially on the clock. The Nuggets are on the clock. Cheeseburger in paradise.
Oh yeah, I think I want, like I said, I want to cut the Nuggets off. Let's kind of. I know it's obviously we said what went wrong. What do we need to do? I know it's literally the same night the Nuggets just lost, so we probably won't have this answer until more. Once we start seeing a little bit more during, we'll probably come back at least do one episode during Nuggets Summer League. But as far as what would you want to see the Nuggets do to get back to a championship and win another championship going forward? What pieces do we need?
I'll go first. I think they need to rest. I think some of this is due to the fact that this is the first period of time, I would say it that way, that we played this many games. We played really hard all last year. We won. We didn't get a whole lot of rest like everyone else. We got keyed on. And when, like they said, we had a target on our backs. So they had to play even harder. And then we didn't have the bench. We just talked about it to help alleviate some of the effort that you had to put in. And thank goodness we were as healthy as we've been. We were really lucky that we were as healthy as we've been. And so I hope what they do is get some rest. Some other decisions are made about who else is going to be added to this team, who's not going to be on it. And then we start healthy and rested, and we do our thing. And who's to say we don't get there next year?
All right, but after that, what are you saying? Because obviously rest is key. No one's disagreeing with that.
I'm just saying that.
What pieces would you want to add? Do you want to add a backup center?
We have to. If we need the whole starting five revisited in the bench, so we do need a backup center. We need another forward. We need we need all the pieces that go on which you have decent people on that level that's backing them. So so our starting five gets some rest. KCP is going to be the one that's up with a new. So we have to sign him, try or whatever. I'm sure they're going to be talking about putting some money aside to pay Joker and Murray and MPJ or whoever, Aaron Gordon, because all those contracts are going to have to be renewed soon too. So it's going to be an interesting time I think.
I think obviously if you can pay KCP, you pay him. I don't know. Hey, obviously, to your point, we may need to keep that money if we need to pay our other guys. If the thing that sucks about KCP leaves is that how good of a defender he is. You don't replacing him at you literally would probably need to get realistically you would need to get like a Jaden McDaniels or a Kyle Caruso. You need someone that's actually defensively there to replace him. So that's kind of what the first thing is. And if you might as well just pay him because maybe he'll take a 1 year or two.
But y'all were talking about the San Antonio Spurs. They had Bruce Bowen, remember?
Yeah, man. Hopefully KCP's like, I don't want to leave Denver. I'll take a little bit less. Like, it's what it is. 2, obviously, a backup to Jokic would be helpful.
Oh yeah,
very helpful, especially after tonight where he plays 47 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And third, obviously, we're gonna have to get a backup point guard.
Yes.
Because no disrespect again to Reggie Jackson, you had a tremendous career, one of the best, and you're a Denver kid. Never can hate on
We
you.
just have to get younger.
We just need to get, and then
We need to get younger. That's
we need a point guard that's gonna be able to handle that, take care of that moment.
Yep.
So yeah, those would be my three things. Obviously, make sure we get KCP, backup to Jokic,
And a
backup point guard. Christoph? Maybe not.
Maybe not, huh? No, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. I was saying that Bones take continues to age like fine milk. Him deciding to, want to get traded and stuff, because tonight I think Bones would have had a great night tonight, to be honest with you. And those are points you needed, but those are ifs. But if he's learned his lesson.
I'm saying if was
What's
a
a
fifth,
fifth?
we'd be
No,
drinking.
but I hear.
Can't be doing that. We
Well, I
can't.
was going to say
have somebody
if
who
he's
wants to-
available, he might be a good fit. That's what you were asking the question of, like, what could we do this off season? I said if he's available, he could be a good addition. I think it's kind of what Jays was saying. We got to go straight and just build the bench back. You got to get the depth to go around that first five. I think signing KCP back is paramount. If you get KCP back and then build the bench, I think that's what the Nuggets need to do this offseason.
That was one of our calling cards last year. They were, if you heard the media and you believe in what the media said, Denver's one of the deepest teams. When they say deep, they just don't mean we have people in those positions. They mean we have people who make a difference and are impactful in those positions.
Off the bench.
Yeah, off the bench. Brucey B came in. We had, like you said, we had Uncle Jeff. We had other people who would just show up.
I was going to say that. Speaking of that, what's the likelihood we get Brucey B back? Say, for example, we can't sign KCP, but you plug in Brucey Brown.
I think you get worse, to be honest with you. I think you gotta get to keep this as it is. You got to get KCP back, because if KCP walks, then you're back to like really the championship drawing board too. With that five intact, you have the championship right there. Now it's just like how we build around it to get this championship. If KCP leaves, now you got to figure it back from I don't want to say square one, but like you take even more notches back. And I don't think this team was a addition by subtraction team from when they won the championship. They were just like, if you continue to add, more depth, they could have run it. They could continue to be running, but I don't think an addition by subtraction step is the way to go here, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, I like KCP. I actually I think that's the best option. I was just wondering, do you see a place where we can get Bruce Brown back if we could?
Yeah, but as a replacement for KCP, that's where I create my difference from there.
6 man off the bench again would be,
yeah,
because he knew how to run the team too, and he played a lot of backup point. That's how Michael Malone was rolling him. He was in and out. When somebody got hurt in our starting five, whatever position, they throw him in there, and then he was 6 man off the bench, and we just had that depth.
There's really no one
who was like excellent tonight. Excellent. I thought, he's not the, something we've seen him score. Don't get me wrong, but most times when he's, handling Anthony Edwards like he did, I'm not saying Anthony Edwards gonna still get his, but Anthony had a slow night. Did he get 10 points finally?
No.
He got 16. Finished with 16.
What? He did get
16.
And that was in the final
part. Yeah, he got 12 in the second half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Anthony, you did a good job of containing Anthony, but what killed you is that they had others. It was their others. Their others killed him. Their others, the fact that Ant could have an off night and they could still get carried because they're a better team.
It was a better team, and it was game 7, so they stepped up. So
but the thing is, you had on the complete flip side. Sorry, Dot. Let me finish this point really quickly. On the complete opposite side is your best 2 players had phenomenal games, and they didn't get the help around them to carry you. And on their side, their best player had a bad game or not a great game, but you had enough for him to get carried to the finish. And that's the difference in game 7. And that's the difference in this season. And that's why Minnesota goes on and Nuggets are, like we've said, going to Cancun.
Let's just carry this through. We're just talking, and if was a fifth, I get it. But say we won tonight, okay? We're tired because we just got. I heard somebody say this today. You know what? If because how far we had to come back from an 0-2 depth hole we built for our own self, and we get out of it and we win. They said, how much would that first or second game in the Western Conference Final against a team that's waiting there for us would we have been able to do? I think this would have bit us, if not here, next. Even though we were more than
I don't agree with that necessarily.
Okay. Well, we'll find out from
Dallas,
Minnesota players. We'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dallas literally won last night, so it's not like they had less than 24 hours ahead of us rest. It's not like they swept.
No, the game is Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
they get 20 hours extra of resting. I think here's what I'm saying. If we want to play if the Nuggets won this game tonight, I don't think I thought the Nuggets would lose maybe 3 more games for the rest of the season. I think maybe 4 at best.
Would we have grown a bench?
No,
here's the thing is Minnesota just matches up well. They have the depth on the bench. They have the perimeter scoring. They could literally render AG obsolete because you can't do that back him in the dunker position because they have the bodies for it. Minnesota just pairs well against us. Everybody else does not pair well against us. The Nuggets would have, I think, whoever. That's why Dot and I we're having this conversation. I think whoever won this series is going to win the championship. I think Minnesota is really good because no one matches up well against them. I know you don't want to hear that, but I think it's the truth.
You with?
I'm with you.
You don't know that. You don't know that, K-Dot. I mean, Christoph, you don't know that.
But here's the thing. Here's what I do know is that I was the only person on this pod that said that Minnesota was going to beat us in a 7-game series, and I'm the only one that's right. So I think it happens all the time. Shout out to my boy Eddie Muchima, his brother Mikey said it to me in 2015. He said that the Warriors going to win a championship, and I was like, no, this is in March. And he's like, they're just the best team. If you look around, you can always spot who the best team is. I would kid you, 85% of it every season, 85% of the time you can, and it happens each season. Minnesota was just the best team. It was either them or the Nuggets, and I couldn't tell my fandom. That's why we named it championship season.
We're disagreeing over here.
You can look at Dallas.
That's why we named it championship season last season because we knew the Nuggets were the best team.
You can look at Dallas right now and say that they.
No, I don't. Minnesota's better than them. We'll find it out, but Minnesota's better than them.
I'm not gonna crown Minnesota the champs yet.
I definitely ain't crowning them.
Would you have crowned the Nuggets the champs if they won?
Yeah, no, because I'm a Nuggets fan.
Okay, there you have it.
I'm a Nuggets
Minnesota. So Nuggets would have won a championship if they beat Minnesota, but Minnesota beats Denver, and then you're like, I don't think they're going to win a championship.
What I saw. I'm just talking about what I saw from being in the arena. There was a lot of they reminded me of how the Suns were in 2021, where they felt like this was the championship, the way they were cheering and celebrating.
And that's what I'm saying. It was in some piece. It was because whoever won that game is going to win the championship. That's what I'm saying.
There's a level of emotion that gets pulled out of you of release from thinking that this is the championship. And what I'm saying is that yes, you could be right, Christoph. I'm not disagreeing. And you may come back in 2 months and be like, I told y'all Minnesota won. What I'm saying is that they got 2 more series to play against teams that did not release the breaks the way they did.
And have a bench. And let me say this, the other thing too. Boston would have something to say about that. I know they don't have Porzingis, but I think they are sick of getting Porzingis. I know I say it wrong every time. They get to this point every year, and they're sick of it. I'm thinking, Jim. Yeah. I'm telling my man is probably sick of hearing about this. Jaylen Brown and all of them. And they're sick of hearing it. So I would not count them out. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't. And Minnesota hasn't been here. They said on the night before I turned the TV off, that this is their first time getting this far in like 20 years.
So we'll see, Christoph. I'm not.
And the Nuggets never won a championship in 47. So you have to have a first time for it. I don't know. I just think they're the best. I think they're the best built team, and I think that they were the Nuggets' worst matchup.
We're gonna give you that.
And the Nuggets are the best team in basketball, but unless Minnesota could beat them and Minnesota beats them, I don't want to root for Minnesota. I really don't. But like, I just think that I just truly do think
I'm
they'll
saying the
win
Nuggets
this
in
one.
Cancun. I'm in Cancun.
I'm in Cancun. I'm in Cancun with them.
But let's go. Since we're here, let's go to not Nuggets. Obviously, Timberwolves beat the Nuggets there. Congratulations, Anthony Edwards.
Whatever.
Great basketball. Cat, great basketball player. Whatever. Dallas goes and beats OKC last night. Congratulations, Dallas.
Yay, Dallas.
Timberwolves and Boston. You won. I think we said that on the last podcast. Pacers surprisingly beat the Knicks in Game 7. Obviously, I actually kind of called it on the podcast. I said the Indiana Pacers is going to be a really tough matchup for the Knicks. They win in Game 7.
Can we say something before we move on? The only thing I'm going to say about the Knicks, they were beat up.
They're banked. Oh
my God! We talk about the bench we don't have. They had the whole starting team on injured reserve.
Knicks had this one. This is the thing. Kind of what we're talking about the Nuggets. There is no spare championship runs. You know what I mean? Or championship.
Right.
The Knicks had such a good team right now. If a healthy Knicks team would have probably won the whole East. If not, then they would have been great foe for any team in the West. But obviously, losing Bogdan, losing OG, losing what's his name, Julius Randle, losing Mitchell Robinson. Like they list missed.
It goes on the list, and now Brunson hurt his hand. That's the other.
Yeah, then they lost Brunson.
That's the other thing we're talking about. We didn't leave out of this series limping either. We're not in. We didn't. We nicked up and banged up Jamal. Whoever else, AG maybe. I don't know. Cancun. But Cancun. We didn't have Cancun. So we're nicked up, but we're not like they are really in some trouble. The Knicks are with their injuries.
Yep. So the final 4 teams: Dallas versus Minnesota, Pacers versus Boston. Christoph says Minnesota's going to win it all. Who do you think's going to win it all?
Boston.
Okay. I got Boston too.
I'm going with Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is tired of hearing all the smack, and he's going to show up every game and win.
Good to hear. Let's go to.
What about you? You didn't say.
I got Boston. I got Boston. Why not? Let's go to the 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes remaining.
Well, 2 minutes remaining.
We kind of said it. The Nuggets are going to be in Cancun. We're going to be in Cancun.
I'm in Cancun.
We kind of talked about what the Nuggets are going to need to do to. Let's just. Since it's the last episode, what was your favorite moment from the Nuggets season this year, Christoph? Anything that popped out? If you don't have one, I can start. Jokic hitting that game winner against Golden State. That was a beautiful shot. The emotions and all that.
That one from the sideline.
And that was my favorite regular season. Obviously, my favorite postseason was one of Jamal's. Probably the first one. The first one was crazy. Obviously, the second one was really cool because it ended the season. But that first one was.
What about the last? What about that one with the 8 minutes, 8 seconds, 8 minutes?
You can call that
8
one.
seconds.
You call that one for yours.
8 seconds of joy, where KCP hit a 3. The ball got taken away. Joker knocked it away, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really can't be mad at the starters. Like they did something. They came back from 0-2. They took a 3.
Yeah, right. All of it.
They played well tonight. Not all of them. Obviously, some of them
30 was 30, 39 and 35 or whatever it was. Come on.
They needed some relief. If you give those guys some relief, then they might put another 10 points on the board, and that's all she wrote. So
I think Michael Malone did great. That was one of the things. That was one of the things. His staff, they really took what they had to. Like I said, they took those lemons and made lemonade for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. My favorite moment was night 1 when the rafter went up and everybody got their rings, and then subsequently throughout the year when Jeff Green would come, or Bruce Brown, or Thomas Bryant, they all came, and Ish Smith, and everybody got their rings, and they got to be remembered as champions. And I think the national media may not do a good job of this, but we are Nuggets fans.
Yep.
This season, the last season, the season before that, and forever. And forever beyond, and here from this moment forward, this is our squad, and it's not going anywhere. But I thought like a back-to-back would have to make you remember this team. I think now the media is gonna, move on to their next thing. But I think as Nuggets fans, this is something we'll always have and cherish. This team, if we'll see how it all shakes out, but like it was a great run. It was a great run. It was a great run, no doubt about it. It was fun being the champion. It was fun trying to run it back too. So I think there's more to come. I'm just kind of sad right now. But it's also, how the off season is, a lot of moves to be made or not made. We'll see.
Yeah.
But from the start of the 2022-2023 season until tonight, it was a great time,
It was
Yep.
good. Yay. Thank you, Nuggets.
Yep.
The other thing is, one last thing is image. We used to go there and we saw all the banners hanging and all, especially with the Avs, winning, and we see their World Championship stuff hanging there, Stanley Cup trophy passing around, and then Nuggets finally got it. It's good to look up there and see a banner that meant, that says we were world champions.
Some cities never see their team win
Never.
a championship. So,
Mm-mm.
and especially growing up as a Nuggets fan, the fact that I saw the Nuggets win a championship last year will always be appreciated.
Always.
So, from the Just Nuggets podcast, my
Yep.
name is K.Kali. You can find us on Twitter. We'll probably be talking every now and then. And like Thanos, we will return. The Nuggets will be back next year in some form or fashion, pushing to win another championship. Christoph Yalich, thank you for another episode, and thank you for another season. JJ's, thank you for another episode, and thank you for another great season. Shout out to the Nuggets. Y'all lost this year, but y'all will be back in the hunt next year. Let's go.
Coronas and kids.
Let's have some Coronas. Take care.